Hey guys, Dark Soul here, and what you are watching is a gameplay of Raid Mode, specifically playing as Hunk. And this is a gameplay of some of the Raid Mode. I think I played through 4 stages, accompanied by me ranting about the launch of Revelations 2 and a lot of the controversy going on about Revelations 2. So if you don't want to hear me kind of ranting about this, and I'm honestly, like anybody else who pre-ordered Revelations 2, I'm pissed off. But if you don't want to hear it and you just want to see the footage, just feel free to mute the volume. And yeah, I mean, you're gonna get to see, I think, in the 4th stage, part of what I'm annoyed about, and it's honestly what I'm more annoyed about than anything. So yeah, so here we go. Here starts my rant. Basically, some of the problems that are going on with the Revelations 2 launch is, well, the thing that people are primarily complaining about, and the reason that if you look on Revelations 2 for PC on Steam, it has mixed reviews right now. That is because when Revelation 2 was on the Steam Marketplace, Steam Store, it was advertised as it was going to include offline local co-op for both the campaign and the raid modes. So a lot of us, myself included, bought this game or pre-purchased this game thinking that we were going to be able to play it with, our friends or whoever we intended to play it with on our PCs locally. And that really would have been beneficial for the campaign mode, because there's no online mode whatsoever for the PC version for the campaign. They do plan to release a patch that will enable online co-op for raid mode, but not for the campaign, not ever. So originally it said that there was going to be offline local co-op for the PC version, and then I think it was either the day of or the day before, but I'm pretty sure it was the day of the release that they changed the info on the Steam store, saying that it still said that it had, local co-op, but then it said the PC version will not support local co-op for either campaign or raid mode. Now keep in mind, this was right before or right after the launch, where everybody who had pre-ordered, they had already pre-ordered and paid for the game. It was too late to pre-order a console version or whatever. They had already pre-ordered the PC version. So now Capcom is saying that they are giving out refunds, which, if you ask me, is not enough of a reparation for this, but they are giving out refunds. But the fact is, people who wanted to play this with a friend doing some couch co-op have already missed out on pre-ordering this game properly and getting whatever pre-order bonuses the console versions had. I don't know what the console versions had. I know by pre-ordering the PC version, you got Hunk and the throwback map pack, and I think that's it. I think that's all you get. We got those for free. Well, you can't get those now for the console, or you can't get whatever it is for the console version if you get the refund and then go to pre-order or buy it. So that really sucks. On top of that, their reasoning for removing or for not having local co-op in the PC version was, from what I understood, to ensure that users got a stable experience across a variety of PCs and graphics card and hardware and whatever you have on your computer. Because it's true, not everybody, basically nobody who plays PC is going to have the exact same rig as another player. But even so, that shouldn't affect having one PC play the game for 2 people. I don't understand what the problem is there. It certainly shouldn't be a problem with processing power, because PCs by far can handle way more than any console at this point. Or at least, I would say mid to high-end PCs can do what a console can do, or better. And if you're playing a low-end PC, you know, that would be on you if you bought the game thinking you're going to play co-op and then you couldn't play it. That would be because your PC wasn't up to par to be able to handle that. And, you know, people are going to encounter that with any game. Sometimes your PC just can't handle a game, or handle certain features of a game, or whatever. But that was their excuse. And, you know, I can understand that train of thought, except their excuse, they didn't even succeed in that. Many of us, myself included, got this game and are still encountering major graphical issues that make the game nearly unplayable, and you're going to see examples of that in the 4th stage. This is the 2nd one right now, but in the 4th raid mode stage I play in this video, and you catch glimpses of it throughout these other stages. What happens is the frame rates drop. Now, this isn't like lag or the game speed slowing down. You're actually losing frames. So things that happen on screen, or things that are happening in game, do not appear on screen, so you don't see certain things that are happening. This really causes a problem when you're trying to dodge an enemy attack, or shoot an enemy, or snipe an enemy. You know, it causes problems with basically everything you're trying to do. And it seems to be pretty random, although I notice it appears more often in some stages than others, but it does occur pretty randomly. So this is a huge problem, because this really makes the game frustrating or almost unplayable at certain times, because I can't count how many times I've been hit or missed multiple shots because of this frame drop. It's being called frame stuttering, it's being called teleporting, it's being called frame rate drops, and it's a huge problem. So now, I'm not ashamed to admit that I used to be a huge Capcom fan. Capcom used to be my favorite gaming company, because they used to put out beautiful and fun games like Lost Planets 1 and 2, the Resident Evil series up to, I don't know, 4. Yeah, Devil May Cry. They put out a lot of really good games. The problem is, lately they've been screwing up a lot, and this launch is a good example of that. And honestly, the only reason I pre-ordered this game was to get Hunk, and I honestly regret pre-ordering this game, and I don't think I'll ever pre-order another Capcom game again. I don't like pre-ordering games anyway, and this was the one exception I was making. The last game I had pre-ordered was Resident Evil 6, and as you can imagine, that was a huge bust. So this is definitely the last game by Capcom that I pre-order. It might be the last Capcom game I buy. We will see what happens to Resident Evil in the future, and I have no hope for Lost Planet. And, you know, there's a few other Capcom games series I like. But it's just, you know, really disappointing that Capcom has fallen so far, considering they used to be a great company. They used to put out Mega Man games, they used to put out good Lost Planet games, they used to put out amazing Resident Evil games, and they created Devil May Cry, they created Dragon's Dogma, a game that I really enjoy, never finished because it is ridiculously difficult, but they do put out really good games, but not anymore. They fail where they shouldn't, and it's becoming a huge problem. Some of my biggest disappointments from Capcom is the fact that I thoroughly enjoyed Lost Planet 1 and 2. I still call Lost Planet 2 the greatest third-person shooter of all time. Action shooter, not talking about horror or anything. It's the greatest third-person action shooter I've ever played. And I've loved Resident Evil up until Resident Evil 4 was the last one that I really enjoyed. And the reason for that is, with Lost Planet 3, Capcom took it in the wrong direction, and honestly, I've only played like 20 minutes of Lost Planet 3, and that was enough to realize that it was definitely, it looks like a Dead Space ripoff, and that's not what Lost Planet should be. It's not a horror game, or it shouldn't be. And with Resident Evil, with their success with Resident Evil 4, they got too excited, and then they accidentally took Resident Evil in the wrong direction from there. Resident Evil 5 was an okay game. It was, I would say, above mediocre. It was about mediocre. And then with Resident Evil 6, they totally messed it up. I hate Resident Evil 6. And these are just some examples of what Capcom has done to some of my favorite game series. Resident Evil is one of my 2 favorite game series in existence. That and The Legend of Zelda. And thankfully, The Legend of Zelda hasn't been trashed yet, but that's because Capcom doesn't own it, right? So honestly, at this point, for the past couple of years, I've honestly just been hoping that Capcom would sell their rights to the Resident Evil title, because honestly, I believe that any other game company would do it right, because Capcom has clearly not listened to their fans in terms of what we want for the Resident Evil series, what we want for Lost Planet, what we want from them. And if you don't give your customers, your fans, what they want, you're not going to make a profit, and they're not realizing that, apparently. So honestly, I just wish they would cut their losses and sell their rights to specifically Resident Evil. Although I have to say, what I have played of Revelations 2, and I've played, I think it says 12 hours so far, and it's been like 2 days since launch. But what I have played of Revelations 2, I really enjoy, except that it's difficult to get into the game when you're having to deal with these frame rate drops. Also, a big problem with the campaign not having local co-op for the PC, and never going to have online co-op either, is I've played through the first episode and I pretty well enjoyed it. It's creepy, it's sort of what Resident Evil should be, but it still forces this 2-player experience on you, even though the PC users can't play with another player in the campaign at all, not offline or online. And this is a real problem because the campaign partner AI is atrocious. It is completely stupid and idiotic. I'll give you a quick example, and I think it's in my Let's Play of Episode 1, Part 1. But Myra it's the last room before you get out of the penal colony, the prison. There's a room with a flaming statue in it, and Myra will go and stand next to the entrance to that room right after, you know, a bunch of enemies are chasing you in there. Or Claire, depends on which character you're playing, they both do it. But we'll go and run next to it and stand there, even if an enemy comes through that doorway, hits her in the face, knocks her down, she will stand right back up, go right back to that same spot and stand there. And I've had a few problems with the partner AI in the campaign, and I would much prefer to have been able to play with a player instead of the computer AI. And honestly, I don't see why the AI is so stupid, because I've never seen the AI this dumb in any Resident Evil game. You know, Resident Evil 0, the AI is okay. Resident Evil 4, Ashley stays behind you, so that's not a problem. Even when you're shooting, she looks over your shoulder to make sure she's never within your line of sight. Resident Evil 5, Sheva stays right inside of your view and actually helps you significantly. And then Resident Evil 6, as much as I hate it, the AI is, again, really smart, and they do well. So I don't know why the AI is so dumb in Revelations 2. I mean, the Myra AI clearly cannot fight these enemies, so why would she stand anywhere near them? She should run away from them, but she doesn't. and it's a big problem. So, all in all, if you're thinking of buying Revelations 2 for specifically for the PC, do not buy it right now. They have just released a patch, but it hasn't fixed raid mode for me. I tried it on this stage actually, and it still gets those frame rate drops that you're seeing right now. But if you're wanting to get it on PC, I would honestly recommend waiting until all 4 episodes are out and then buying it, because probably by then these problems will be resolved. And if you're wanting to play it with your friend in local co-op, do not get it on PC. Don't even consider it, because Capcom has said that it is not in their future plans to release co-op mode for the PC, or local co-op for the PC. So just get it on console if you can. I know that might not be a good option for some people. It might have been for me, but I wanted it on PC, and I bought it on PC thinking that local co-op was going to be a feature. So I'm one of the people who's pretty pissed off, although I'm not being as harsh as a lot of other Resident Evil fans or people who bought the game. I think some people are being a little too harsh on it. I don't think it's quite justified to just straight up give the game a negative review on the Steam store. It's true it's having a rocky launch, but in my opinion this is a good game, and it's closer to what I want to see Resident Evil be than, say, Resident Evil 6 or Resident Evil 5. It's closer to what it should be. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. Don't lose hope for this game, just don't buy it right now, just give it some time. So yeah, hopefully Capcom will release a patch for this game so it'll be a little more playable, and hopefully they'll do something to reimburse us, to people who don't want to get a refund but expected local co-op. Hopefully they'll do something to make that up to us. I'm hoping it's not some crappy DLC. I'm hoping it's something significant, or that they'll even patch in local co-op, but they've said they weren't going to, so I'm not expecting that. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and hopefully this situation will get better. Hopefully. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, there's no online co-op for raid mode as of right now, and from what I have read, that it's not going to happen until March 17th, but I don't think Capcom has set a specific date, but they have said that they're going to enable raid mode online co-op in a future patch, but I don't think they've said when. It was another user who said the date March 17th, which I think is odd because that's the release of Tamriel Unlimited, so I'm not sure why they said that date in particular. They might have been lying. But yeah, that's honestly all I'm going to say for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and let's hope it gets better. I'll see you soon.